Hey folks, this is Nick. Welcome back to the weekly audio release of my novel, American Traditional. This week is Chapter 12. We're picking up right where the letter left off. Leo's in the fire at Anchor and Iron, hands still shaking, but the forge is working. Chapter 12. The Partner. Kole steps in, shares a piece of his own story. It's the kind of mirror Leo didn't ask for. If you're digging the story so far, do me a solid. Hit that like, drop a comment with what's hitting you, and subscribe so you don't miss the next drop or any other videos I put out. It really helps keep this thing rolling. Also, quick heads up, Chapter 13 is already live right now for Patreon members. No intros, no ads, just straight into the story. Grab your coffee if you're up late wherever you are. Let's begin Chapter 12.
Chapter 12. The Partner. The Tuesday after Sarah's letter arrived, Leo showed up at 6:50 and found the shop already open. Light spilled from the windows onto South Division. Someone was inside. He pushed through the door. The bell chimed. A voice called from the back room. Not Silas's gravel rumble, but something lighter, younger.
Coffee's fresh. Help yourself.
Leo walked through the main floor. At the back counter, a man stood over the coffee pot, pouring a mug. He was tall, lean, maybe early 40s. His arms were covered in tattoos, not traditional Americana like Silas, but something else entirely. Bright, bold, cartoonish characters with exaggerated features and wild flowing letters that looked like they jumped off a subway car. New school style. He turned, saw Leo, and smiled.
You must be the new guy. Leo, right? I'm Kole.
He held out his hand. Leo shook it. Cole's grip was firm, warm.
Silas mentioned you.
Leo said.
I bet he did.
Kole poured a second mug, handed it to Leo.
Probably said I was particular or some shit. That's his way of saying I don't take apprentices. But I saw Jesse's portfolio yesterday. Kid's got discipline, clean lines. I'm gonna take him on.
Leo's stomach clenched. Jesse. Getting opportunities Leo had burned.
Good for him.
Leo managed.
Yeah.
Kole sipped his coffee, studying Leo over the rim.
Silas told me your story. The wire, Magnus, the whole thing. Must have been rough.
Leo said nothing. What was there to say?
I've been where you are.
Kole continued. He said it casually, like he was talking about the weather.
Different details, same fall. I was a drunk. Spray paint artist, graffiti, murals, whatever paid. Burned through my marriage, my kid, everything that mattered. One night I was tagging the side of this building.
He gestured around.
Silas came out. I thought he'd call the cops. Instead, he looked at my work and said, "You've got talent wasting on a wall. If you want to do that on skin, I'll teach you."
He set his mug down, leaned against the counter.
I thought he was crazy, but I showed up the next day. He started me exactly where you are. Cleaning toilets, building needles, answering phones. Told me my hands were unclean. Spiritually, not literally.
Kole smiled, a quick, sharp thing.
Took me 6 months before he let me touch a machine. Another year before I was good enough to work on paying clients.
How long ago was that?
20 years. I've been his partner for 15.
Cole's expression shifted, became more serious.
Silas doesn't save people. He forges them. There's a difference. Saving is gentle. Forging is fire and hammer. You're in the fire now. Question is whether you'll hold together or crack.
The front door opened. Silas entered, carrying his jacket, his lunch cooler. He saw Kole and Leo at the coffee pot and nodded once.
Good. You're both here. Leo, you're on the front desk this morning. Appointments start at 9. Cole's got 2 clients, I've got 1. You answer phones, ring up sales, keep the counter clean.
Yes, sir.
Silas walked to his station, began setting up. Kole clapped Leo on the shoulder, friendly but firm, and headed to his own station at the middle of the floor. Leo watched them work. The contrast was immediate. Silas was methodical, silent, his movements economical and precise. He set up his machine with the care of a surgeon, each piece placed exactly where it belonged. Kole was different. He moved with fluid energy, setting up while humming along to music playing low from a speaker, some mix of folk and metal that shouldn't have worked but did. His station was more cluttered than Silas's, but organized in its own way. Sketch reference taped to the wall, color palettes lined up, a photo of a woman and two boys in a small frame on the counter. At 8:50, Leo took his position at the front desk. The phone rang almost immediately.
Anchor and Iron, how can I help you?
The voice on the other end wanted to know about availability for a sleeve. Leo checked the appointment book, offered dates 2 months out, booked the consultation, hung up. The phone rang again, and again. Between calls, Leo watched Silas and Kole work. Silas barely spoke except to his client. Quiet instructions about staying still, warnings about sensitive spots. Kole talked constantly, keeping his clients relaxed with stories and jokes while his hands moved with surgical precision. At one point, Kole called across the shop.
Silas, am I crazy with this cerulean?
Silas glanced over, looked at the design for 3 seconds.
Needs more crimson.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Kole adjusted his palette. That was it. No debate. Total trust. At noon, Silas nodded toward the door.
Lunch. 30 minutes.
Leo walked to the deli, bought a sandwich with money Silas had tipped him, ate it on the walk back, was back at his station 5 minutes early. Silas noticed but said nothing. The afternoon was more of the same. Phones, appointments, cleaning. At 3, during a lull, Silas called him to the back.
You're done with phones for today. Back to needle building. I need a full set, 3 round, 5 round, 7 mag, 9 mag by closing.
Leo sat at the bench, picked up the soldering iron. His hands were shaking, still shaking after 5 weeks, the withdrawal symptoms persistent but slowly fading. He aligned the first wire, touched the iron to it. The solder blobbed, ugly, useless. He cleaned it, tried again. Kole wandered over during his client's smoke break, watched Leo struggle for a minute.
The shakes are a bitch, huh?
Kole said, not unkindly.
It's just lack of sleep.
Sure it is.
Kole smiled.
Look, I've been there. First month is the worst. Your body's screaming for what you used to feed it. Here's what helps. Water. Lots of it. Force it down, and sugar. When you feel like you're gonna jump out of your skin, eat a spoonful of honey. Takes the edge off.
That actually works?
Nah, it's bullshit. But it gives your hands something to do other than shake.
He gestured at the needle.
This is the real medicine. Forces your mind to focus on something other than wanting a drink. It's agony now, but you're rewiring yourself. Takes time.
Leo nodded, tried again. The solder flowed slightly better. Kole patted his shoulder and headed back to his station. By closing time, Leo had completed the set. The needles were rough, uneven, but functional. He laid them on the counter for inspection. Silas examined each one, held them up to the light, tested the tension, said nothing for a long time. Finally,
Acceptable. Better than last week. You're learning.
it was the closest thing to praise Leo had gotten since arriving at the shop. It felt like winning a championship. Kole was breaking down his station.
Kid's got hands when they're not shaking. Give him another few weeks, he'll be solid.
Maybe.
Silas put the needles in a sterile bag.
Still got a long way to go.
They locked up together, Silas, Kole, and Leo. Outside, the November evening was freezing, the first hint of real winter in the air. Kole walked to his truck, turned back.
Hey, Leo, you go see Elias yet? Thank him for the sketchbook?
Leo froze.
What sketchbook?
Kole and Silas exchanged a look. Silas walked to his car, popped the trunk, pulled out a package wrapped in brown paper. He walked back and handed it to Leo.
Was gonna give you this at the end of the week, but you earned it early.
Leo tore open the paper. Inside was a sketchbook, not the cheap spiral-bound kind from art stores. This was handmade, thick burgundy leather cover, worn smooth at the edges, hand-stitched binding. On the front was a simple debossed symbol, an anchor wrapped in ivy. Leo opened it. The pages were thick, cream-colored, toothy, real paper, expensive paper,
Elias made that.
Silas said.
Asked him for a favor. Told him I had an apprentice who needed to start from zero. Learn to draw what's in his head, not what's on a screen.
Leo ran his fingers over the leather. It was the finest thing he'd touched in months.
This is...
He couldn't finish.
It's a tool,
Silas said.
You'll fill it with your own work, your own failures, your own discoveries. No traced photos, no stolen designs, just you learning the craft the right way.
Kole whistled low.
Damn, Silas. Pulling out the big guns. Elias doesn't make these for just anyone. Doesn't make them for money. That's a favor, a big one.
Leo looked at the shop next door. The vellum vault still lit up, Elias visible through the window, working at his bench.
I should thank him.
Leo said.
You should.
Silas got in his car.
But not empty-handed. Tomorrow morning, stop by the gas station. Get him coffee, black, no sugar. That's how you show respect.
He started the engine. Kole climbed into his truck. Both vehicles pulled away, leaving Leo standing on South Division, holding the sketchbook. He walked to the shipping container. Inside, he sat on the cot and opened the sketchbook to the first page. The paper was so clean, so perfect. He was afraid to mark it. But Silas's words echoed.
Start from zero.
Leo found his pencil, began with the basics Silas had shown him. Straight lines, slow, patient pulls from the shoulder, not the wrist. Page after page of parallel lines, building a grid. It was tedious, maddening. Nothing like the freehand confidence he used to have. But it was honest. He worked until his hand cramped. Then he closed the sketchbook, set it carefully on the crate, and lay back on the cot. Tomorrow he'd bring Elias coffee, thank him properly, continue learning from the old man who understood that repair and restoration weren't the same thing. Tomorrow he'd keep building needles until his hand stopped shaking. Tomorrow he'd show up at 7 a.m. and do it all again, still counting forward, still surviving. And Leo owed Sarah at least that much. A man who showed up, a man who did the work, a man who was being rebuilt from zero. The sketchbook sat on the crate, waiting, an anchor wrapped in ivy, a symbol of being held steady while learning to grow. Leo closed his eyes and let the darkness take him.